My family hasn't spoken in 20 years, but today I'm betting everything on a pot of boiling water. This isn't a gourmet masterpiece. It's just charred onions and salt. Watch how the simplest broth ever made managed to dissolve decades of resentment and finally bring my broken family home. Holidays in a Chest family should be this grand, beautiful affair, right? Tables groaning with food, laughter echoing off the walls. For 2 decades, mine was silent. An empty table, a cold kitchen. The silence started small, a stupid argument over something I can't even remember. But pride is a stubborn thing. It built walls, brick by brick, until 20 years had passed and none of us knew how to tear them down. My father, my brother, my sister, we were strangers living in the same city. This year, I decided I was done. Done with the silence, done with the ache. I didn't send a text or make a call. I sent a simple invitation. Dinner. My place. 7 p.m. No fancy promises. No begging. Just a time and a place. I honestly didn't think anyone would show up. Why would they? But as a chef, the only way I know how to speak from the heart is through food, and I knew it couldn't be anything complicated. No foie gras, no truffle oil, no culinary flexing. That kind of food can be a barrier. It can intimidate. I needed something that felt like a hug, something that felt like an apology without having to say the words. I went back to the very first thing my grandmother ever taught me. Charred onion broth. It's peasant food, really? The kind of thing you make when you have nothing. All it is onions, water, and salt. You take a whole onion, skin and all, and you char it directly on the flame until it's black, absolutely incinerated on the outside. It looks ruined, but inside, something magical happens. The sugars caramelize, developing this deep, smoky, almost sweet flavor. You throw that blackened onion into a pot of water with a good pinch of salt and just let it simmer. That's it. That's the whole recipe. As the pot simmered, my kitchen started to fill with this incredible aroma. It wasn't just the smell of onions. It was the smell of my childhood, the smell of my grandmother's kitchen, a place that was always safe, always warm. It's a smell that bypasses the brain and goes straight to the heart. It's the smell of home. At 7:05, the doorbell rang. It was my sister, Sarah. She looked nervous, clutching her purse like a shield. She didn't say hello, just, "What's that smell?" A few minutes later, my brother Mark arrived. He stood in the doorway, arms crossed, looking just as tense. And then, right at 7:15, my dad walked in. He looked older than I remembered. The 3 of them stood there in my living room, a triangle of awkward silence. The air was so thick you could cut it with a knife. I didn't try to force conversation. I just ladled the broth into 3 simple bowls. It's not much to look at. A clear, amber liquid, with nothing floating in it. I handed one to each of them. Sarah took a tentative sip. Her eyes widened. Who's a little? Mark, ever the skeptic, took a bigger gulp. I saw his shoulders relax, just a fraction of an inch. Then my dad. He held the bowl in his hands, warming them, and closed his eyes as he inhaled the steam. He took a sip, and then another, and then he looked at me for the first time in 20 years. He really looked at me, and his eyes were wet. No one said, "I'm sorry." No one said, "I miss ye." We didn't need to. The broth was doing the talking for us. It was reminding us of where we came from. It was dissolving the years of pride and anger. In that simple, humble soup, we found a common ground. We were just a family, sharing a memory. That night, we didn't solve all our problems, but we sat in the same room, sipping from the same pot, and we started to talk. It started with the soup. "I remember Grandma making this," Sarah said quietly, and just like that, a crack appeared in the wall of silence. Sometimes, as chefs, we get lost in the complexity. We chase Michelin stars and intricate plating. But we forget that the most powerful food is often the simplest. It's the food that connects us, that reminds us of who we are. This broth, with just 2 ingredients, did what years of therapy and countless missed holidays couldn't. It brought my family home. It turned a cold, empty house, back into a sanctuary. It proved that sometimes all you need to heal a broken heart is a little salt in a pot of boiling water. Thank you for letting me share this with you. If you're holding on to something, maybe the answer isn't a grand gesture. Maybe it's something simple. Something warm. Don't forget to subscribe for more stories from my kitchen. See you next time.